Hello and welcome to the video for animation for Thursday, September 24th. I'm going to open up the waiting room.
Hello.
Hello, how are you, Marco?
Fine, yourself?
Good. You got any big plans for the weekend?
Uh, Not really. Probably just gonna work on animatic.
Cool. Yeah, it's kind of hard to make much in the way of plans
Morning.
these days, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How are the rest of you guys doing?
Not too bad.
Yeah. Hey Blake, did you want to make some kind of arrangements to come by and pick up that game, or did you want me to try and mail it to you? What do you want to do?
Oh shoot, that's right. I gotta try and spin by to pick it up. Would you be available next week by chance?
Yeah, do you ever get out this way, sort of east side near Speed or Broadway and Wilmot area?
I'll be sure to make it out that way.
Okay.
So
That's
I'll just
almost by Bookman's.
Yeah, it's uh,
I'm up here in Oro Valley, so
what we could do, Blake, is we could kind of meet halfway. Like, I don't know, like there used to be a Panera Bread right there at Oracle and Wetmore, I think, over by Tucson Mall.
oh,
Um, is there some landmark that you know of, like a cafe or something like that?
honestly, I don't really have anything in mind for like landmarks because I'm relatively new to the area.
Okay,
So
all right. Well, whatever works for you. If I'm over on your side of town, I can drop it off, or if you're going to be over here, we can make arrangements. Okay.
sounds perfect.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to put you guys in the attendance here, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Let's see. Animation. Okay, and then let me see who we got today. And so, Zion, how are you doing today, Zion? I don't see a little microphone for you, so I'm thinking maybe you're just a video guy today. Are you there, Zion? Okay.
Says connecting to audio.
His does?
On my side, it does.
Oh, it doesn't say that on mine. Let me see. Maybe it says it up here. Zion.
Yeah, it'll sit on like the top bar.
All right, let's see.
Yeah, on the grid it shows me saying connecting to audio for him.
I don't even see. Oh, there he is, connecting audio. Yeah. Um. Okay. Well, we'll see.
They might not have seen the joined with computer audio button yet.
Okay. Right. Right. Um.
Yeah, I've missed that one sometimes.
So let me see who else is in here. William Rockwell. William. So William, hello. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
Good. Hey, did you put a presentation together?
Yeah, I've got one. Am I going to share my screen or I've also got it on my drive.
Um. Yeah, whichever you prefer to do. Do you want to share your screen and give it that way?
Sure, I can share my screen.
Okay. Let me just make it. Let me give you the advanced sharing. Okay, it's all you.
All right. Yeah. All right. Okay, so for my presentation, I'll be looking at animation as to how it pertains to video games. So what I'll be looking at is various games and discussing, using them as examples to discuss how their animation techniques and tricks sort of amplify and add to the game, the storytelling, the gameplay, and see what they do right. So first we'll look at classic game keyframes. So back in the day, cartridges had very limited space, and so animators had to get creative to convey action with as few frames as possible. So to do this, they used keyframes, which are essentially the strongest poses in animation. As you can see, many of these animations on the right really only use about 3 keyframes, yet they still convey like strong poses, strong action. I'll look at a game called Momodora. It's a 2D action game where timing is important. Notice how the player character moves when she attacks. She sort of winds up before she attacks, and which really creates a sense of anticipation, which is critical for the player to notice. Notice how she sort of pauses on the heavy attacks. That sort of calls back to the importance of keyframes and how if you stick around on a single keyframe, then you can create a strong pose while also giving weight to the player character's attacks. This is Hollow Knight, another 2D action game in the same sort of vein as Momodora. The player character only has a single frame of anticipation, as opposed to in Momodora where you have many frames. And this frame only lasts much, much shorter. As you can see on the right, it goes from one frame, then to the next. There's no lag or waiting in between. This reflects the game's much tighter and more responsive controls. And this shows how choosing the right amount of frames and keyframes are critical to action games and such as these. Another example, whenever the player takes damage, if you look on the bottom left, it lingers on that one damage frame for much longer, which gives the player both a sense of danger and let the player understand what just happened. It's Indivisible, an action RPG using hand-drawn animation. Once again, this game relies on keyframes and posing to play a key role in giving the power to the character's emotion. It relies a lot on smearing and strong poses to illustrate action and give a weight to movements. So if you look on the guy on the left, he has far less anticipation on his attacks, which gives it more attacks but lighter feel. Where if you look on the girl on the right, she sort of lingers. If you see, she sort of pauses right before the swing, which gives her attack a whole lot of weight and power. I'll be looking at how various animation techniques and how they sort of match a game's theming. First, look at rotoscoping, which is essentially using the movement of real people as examples for animation. In the case of Prince of Persia, it's a sort of more realistic, weighty platformer, which gives it, and so by using rotoscoping, it gives the game more weight and realism as opposed to the cartoonish nature of other platformers. Meanwhile, Faith, on the bottom left, uses rotoscoping to create a really jarring, eerie atmosphere, which contrasts with the normally stiff and minimalistic animation that the rest of the game uses. Faith uses old school DOS style aesthetics in gameplay to amplify its sense of uncanniness and tension. This is Hylics. It's a sort of surreal RPG where everything is animated in claymation, save for the player's actions, which if you look on the bottom left, are used using the creator's own hands. You can see the guy sort of hold up a banana, peel it, and eat it. Use of claymation really enhances the sense of surrealism of the setting and gameplay, as well as the story. It provides the game with a really unique sense of atmosphere, only achievable by using a unique kind of animation style as claymation. And then this is Crypt of the Necrodancer. It's a beaten rhythm game where the player has to move to the beat of the music. Everything obeys this rule of music and moving to the beat. Both the player and the enemies do this. And so if you look on the bottom and middle and right, you you can see like enemies dancing, which really matches the game's musical theming. Uh, it also creates like a sort of visual cue where like things like skeletons will dance before they move. And yeah, that's the end.
All right. Nice job. Woo!
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really well researched and very interesting. I learned a
Really,
lot.
really cool.
Yeah, nice job. Um, now, so have you played most of those games that you talked about, or did you just
Uh,
research a lot of them?
I have played most of them. I haven't played Hylix or Indivisible yet. But yeah, I'm familiar with all these games.
Okay. Yeah, and so are you a fan of indie games?
Quite a bit, yes, actually.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. Um, there was an article that I just read last night about the former CEO of Blizzard, Activision Blizzard. He just started his own game company with his wife.
I heard about that.
Yeah,
It's
and
Yeah.
got a lot of ex-Blizzard employees.
yeah, they call it something like Dreamland or Dreamscape, or it's got the word dream in it. But they created a brand new game design company, and then they created two game studios underneath it, and each one is going to be developing their own games. And yeah, he took a ton of Blizzard people with him. Let me see if I can find the article real quick because it's pretty interesting. Okay, former CEO of Blizzard starts game company. Um, yeah, here it is. Dreamhaven, that's what it's called.
Then it has two other studios separate from it, I believe, or
Yeah,
under it.
yeah, under it. Okay, here's the article. I'll share my screen with you guys, and then I'll put this link in the chat. Let's see, share, and then here is the article. Gotta move you guys over so I can scroll down. Okay, Mike Morhaime started the new company with his wife, um, and they're like, I guess they've been around for a long time because some of the people that they got have been around for like 25 years in the game industry. It's kind of crazy. So this talks about all of the different people and uh, let's see. It says Mike Morhaime and here it doesn't mention his wife, but I think he was going to be the CEO and she was going to be like head of operations or something. But yeah, and then they list all the people here. Um, and there's two companies, two studios. One is called Moonshot Games, and the other is called Secret Door, that are going to be underneath this new gaming company. And each one's going to develop their own games. So they're going to be developing two games at once, and and they have, and it's kind of cool. They're giving the companies a certain amount of independence. It's like, okay, you guys go ahead and develop the games. We'll give you feedback and stuff like that, but we're not going to be micromanaging you. So anyway, oh, I said I put the article link in here, so let me copy that and find the chat, which is, don't tell me, it's right here. Okay, boom. All right, there's the link if you guys want to check it out. But yeah, it wasn't this article I read, but it was another article that I read about it, and they were talking about independent games. Oh, actually, what it was in the comments about the article, and somebody was like, he was slagging off the corporations and how their profit motives have turned off all the gamers, and how independent games have always been good, because they have to be good just to survive and thrive. And this guy was saying, maybe people will put more of a focus on playing independent games which is what I thought of when we were talking about independent games. Okay, so very cool. Nice job on the presentation. Let me go to the class website here now. So, pima.com. Okay, and we'll go to animation, and we'll scroll down. Okay,
What
so
about mine?
what's that?
I was supposed to do mine too today because you're
Oh,
missing
you
on the
got yours
calendar.
ready? Have you
Yeah.
got yours? Okay, great. You want to? I'll stop my share. Do you want to share your screen, or do you want me to open it from your folder?
When I share screen, does it let me choose which screen? Because I have multi monitors.
Um,
Yes, it should.
it has in my game design class, my student was able to choose his screen, but
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly what the button is you click because I only have one screen.
All right. I don't have any pictures in mine, but there's information.
Okay, we'll try sharing your screen and see if you can bring up the right one.
All right. All right. Oh, it brings it up on both screens when I go into view. Okay, I see that. All right. So we'll want to do screen one. So when I do PowerPoint, it shows my full thing. So hold on.
Okay, we're seeing some anime girl.
Yeah, I know. There we go. You should see my screen.
Yeah, I see anime genre.
Yeah. Okay. So mine, I did the anime genre. I did the anime genre of isekai.
Okay.
All right. Isekai genre it's well known and a successful genre in anime and manga. They are known for good stories and overpowered main characters. They receive much love and hate throughout the community. However, they keep getting each season made, giving new angles to the fantasy worlds being built upon. There are two different ways that they fall under the isekai genre. We have isekai tene, which is a transition to another world, and then we have isekai tensei, which is reincarnation into another world. All right, these are some examples of isekai tene. We have Rising of the Shield Hero, Inuyasha, No Game, No Life. Problem children are coming from another world, aren't they?
Hmm.
And also the Future Trunk Saga of Dragon Ball Z falls under this category.
Hell yeah.
And then we have some examples of Isekai Tensei, which we have Konosuba, which the main character gets killed by a tractor and gets teleported. And then we have The Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, where the main character gets stabbed on the street and he is teleported to another world. There's also a third example known as reverse isekai, in which a fantasy character is transported into the real world instead of the opposite way around. A couple like this is we got The Devil as a Part-Timer, and then I throw in a movie that falls under that, which is the new Sonic the Hedgehog movie. And then we have this is the popular starters, the ones that are credited for it. You have Digimon Adventure 01, Sword Art Online, Dot Hack, and Zero no Tsukaima, which is also called The Familiar of Zero. These are the ones that started it for the genre. And then inspiration for this actually came from books in the 18s and 1900s. We have The Wizard of Oz published in 1900 and Alice's Adventure in Wonderland in 1865, showing that not only is it an anime and manga, but there have been artists early on in history that thought of this idea. So it's going on for 200 years and is still going strong today. And that's it.
Yay! Wow. Now, that's fascinating to me. Are there like a ton of subgenres of anime?
Yeah. There's a lot of different genres, just like regular movies and everything. You know, you could have your action, your adventure, your comedy,
Wow.
parody, all that other stuff.
Now, anime is really, really popular in the West as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's so cool. And are you also a fan of manga?
Yes.
Okay. And there's a
I have like 8 books sitting on my thing about different manga
That's so
and
cool.
anime drawing styles.
Now, uh, there's a direct connection between a lot of manga and anime, right? Like a lot of manga gets made into anime and vice versa kind of thing.
They get made, they don't always get made good. They don't always follow the story that the comic had.
Okay, so it's usually the comic comes first and then the anime follows once they've built up an audience.
Yeah, unless it's made from a light novel, which is, just like a regular novel for us.
Yeah.
And then they would make the comic after the anime is done so people know what the characters look like.
There was a really cool like documentary that I saw once about, I think it's on Netflix, but there's a special name for a studio that just makes anime. And I don't remember what it is, but they basically, it was like a day in the life of this one guy. And every morning, he got up, he was in Asia, and he had his, breakfast, and he walked to work, and then he just worked, on anime all day in this tiny, tiny studio with other people, and they had a deadline every Wednesday. They had to put out
That
their cartoon or
sounds like the comic artists. They're
oh, it
called
was, yeah, I'm sorry, it was manga. It was manga, right?
yeah, they're called mangakas.
Yeah, that's what it is. Mangaka, right. Yeah, and it was fascinating. Have you seen that? Or
I have not. If it's on Netflix, it's probably something I should watch. I haven't really been on Netflix much. I mostly pay for it so my mom has something to watch.
right, I hear you. Okay, well, yeah, I'll look into that, and maybe I can track down that. And actually, let me. Why not? It looks like I've got Netflix up right here, so let me type in what mangaka. Is that it?
Yeah, yeah.
Mangaka. See if there's a documentary that comes up. No, it's just showing a bunch of manga. Let me type one more search here. Documentary on mangaka. Let's see. Japanese examining the process. Okay, yeah, it's not really coming right straight up. If it had come straight up, I would have linked you to it, but it looks like it's going to take some research.
If
Uh,
it's on Netflix, they probably have it under some American-ish name instead of what it's really called.
oh, it's manga dash ka. Okay. Yeah, that's probably part of why I was getting it wrong. Manga dash ka documentary. Yeah, I'm not seeing. Oh, wait. Day in the life of Japanese manga creator. I think this is it. Yeah, this is it.
Yeah, it sounds like what Netflix would do.
This is not on Netflix, it's on YouTube.
Oh,
So let me share this with you or everybody really. So it's called A Day in the Life of a Manga Animator or a manga. Wait, did it say manga animator? Day in the Life of Japanese Manga Creator. Yeah. So if you guys get a chance, check that out. It's really cool and really inspirational. Um, okay, nice job, JD. Thanks for that. All right, let me go back to the class website. Boom, and scroll down here. Okay, so before we let's see, animation. Okay, before we get to doing today's cognitive drawing exercise, I wanted to look at any work that you guys have done that we haven't seen yet. So, does anybody have
Um,
anything?
I have over the walking animation thing.
Oh, cool. Okay, let me check that out. So, let me go to don't tell me this one. Okay, so Vlad 275 is not Vlad. Uh, we are what Vlad 176, and then we open, and then okay, and it's called what? Which one is it, Vlad? Untitled 2? GIF? Can you still hear me, Vlad?
Sorry. Yeah, I think it might be Untitled too. Let me look for myself.
Is he going down into hell?
Yes.
Okay, that's it. All right, here it is. I have double clicked on it and nothing is happening. Okay, now double.
There.
That's really funny. So he did the walk cycle of this guy, and he's surrounded by these hellish demon skeleton guys.
Yep, it's Dante going into the Inferno.
Nice. That looks really good. Good job. Okay, so who else has got something that they want to share? Whether it's, you know, wherever you are in your process, if you got something new that you can share with us, we'd love to see it. Let's see. Only thing I have is from another class was because all day working out. I didn't have a chance to work on my. Okay, that's no problem, JD. I made a few props and a second scene with the spring shrine. Okay, that's Luna. So let's check out the spring shrine. Luna. Okay. Let's see. I don't know which one to look at. Oh, is this the spring shrine? It says, oh, these must be the props. Are these the props? They kind of look like it. So we got the sword and the sheath, and then this thing is cool. What's this kind of C-shaped thing, Luna? It's a moon. Oh, that's the moon mana. Okay.
Looks like it's in a flask.
It kind of looks like a flask. Yeah, it does. Um, well, now is the moon mana like a drink? Or is it like just a gem or something?
Could be considered probably like an elixir of sorts.
Oh yeah, that's what she wrote. Kind of maybe. Okay, great. So an elixir. That's a good description. Thank you, Blake. Okay, so that's good. And then is this the shrine that we're looking at? Okay, so this is the shrine, which looks very cool. You can see lots of potential for like those asteroids, or that. It looks kind of like an asteroid to me to be animated. Um, yeah, but it looks like a really cool scene. I can see that looks like the mana symbol on top of this shrine here. And then there's the rocks and these towers, and it just looks like a really cool place to be, like a really awesome scene. And then is this a pillar over here, this blue thing on the left? JD likes the shading.
Looks like a waterfall.
Oh, a waterfall. Oh, good. You have all the answers, Blake. You should be the one looking at this. Okay, yeah, very nice waterfall. I like that. I like that scene. It's you have such a great vision. You got your you have like it's really clear that you've created a whole world and that there's characters that populate it and that they're serious about their intentions. You know, they have these goals and it's important and it's really compelling. You know, I think it draws you in, draws the viewer in. So nice job. Okay, and then let's see who else has got something. Let me look at my list here of people. Blake says he kind of has stuff. Well, maybe we'll kind of look at it, Blake. Maybe we'll just kind of look at it. Maybe we'll be kind of looking over here, but then kind of looking at your stuff too. Okay. Show this today. Okay, here's a car zip by short that I have to download for some reason.
Oh. For some reason I could just click it and it plays in mine.
Okay, well, mine, of course, opened in preview, which is not going to play and animate. However, if I open it in Photoshop, maybe it'll play as an animated GIF. I don't know.
Are you able to just double click it in the Google Drive and it plays?
I can try that. I thought I did, um, but then it gave me this crazy thing. Let me try
Oh,
again. Double click. Yeah, it couldn't preview it.
it's
Uh,
weird.
yeah, I know it's weird. Let me see. Uh, right click, open with. Let's see. Yeah. Um,
It's nothing really too special if it's being a hassle. It's just the car to the right is zipping by. That's really all it was.
okay, I have a feeling that if I double click on it here, maybe it will work. Maybe it'll launch in like an HTML browser. Oh God, it's always doing preview. Okay. Uh, I've got one last idea that I think will work. Open with, I just want to open it with a browser. Oh, there we go. Finally.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's cool.
And I just threw a pigeon in there for effect.
Yeah, I like the contrary motion of the pigeon where the car is going from the top right to the lower left and the pigeon's going sort of the opposite direction. It's going straight across, but it's going to the right. It's very interesting. It makes it feel like there's a lot more going on in the scene. I keep, I look at the scene and I keep expecting to find Walter White out here mixing meth on a bus or on an RV or something like that. You know what I mean? Uh,
Hell yeah.
okay. So let's see. Luna likes the car animation. She thinks it's really good. Um, okay. And now I can go back. Let's say I can close that. And then here's the car itself. Wow. That is wicked. Did you draw that?
Uh, I wouldn't say necessarily a draw, but there was some geometry play at hand.
Okay. Well, it looks cool. I like that.
Looks like it just came off the lot.
Yeah, exactly. It
Just
looks
trying
kind
to
of
go for National Lampoons.
Road Warrior-esque, you know, like there's some enhancements to it, like maybe it's armored or something. Um, yeah, but it's really nice. It has so much character, so much personality. Um, very cool.
Just
Okay.
needs a deer catcher on the front, and you're good to go.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Okay, let's see. I'm looking through my list here to see if anybody else mentioned that they have anything. Let's see. Garrett asks, "How do I turn the walk cycle into a GIF?" That's a good question. Has anybody taken an Adobe?
So,
Yeah.
one thing I noticed is that the symbols are not able to transition into a GIF. So, a workaround is to potentially drag the symbol keyframes into like outside of the symbol format and just into the timeline itself with everything else.
Well, the other
That's probably a nasty way of doing it, but
yeah, there's the simpler way to do it. I mean, that's great that you figured out that hack, but you can make a movie out of it really pretty easily, and that will serve the same purpose as an animated GIF. So I'm launching Adobe Animate right now. I'm also somehow launching QuickTime, which I don't understand why. Um, but I'll show you how to export it into a movie. Um, see if I can open up my walk cycle once this program starts up. Now, while we're doing this, is there anybody else who has anything, either a storyboard or maybe they're working on an animatic or background we haven't seen, any of that good stuff? Let's see, one new message. I did the storyboard for my animation. Oh, cool. Well, let's check that out while Adobe Animate is launching. Uh, let's see. Okay, Daniel, do you want to walk us through this or?
Yeah, yeah. So sorry, it's just a little messed up. I was just doing a quick. So the main story is gonna be like a little kid like walking and he finds like a paper plane, and then you can see on the little squares that he gets the paper plane and he tries to like throw it in the air.
Uh-huh.
But the paper plane flies, but it comes back and it hits the eye of the kid. So it's just gonna be like a funny. I was thinking of a funny idea, so this is what I came up with. So I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's really good. I have a suggestion for you.
Yeah,
Okay, what if it started out, what if the kid walked into the scene, right? And there was some other kid playing with a paper airplane, right? And so the first kid, you know, he's got like a little pile of paper airplanes on the ground over. So the first kid throws a paper airplane and it just sails off into the air and it looks really good. And then he picks up a second paper airplane and he throws this one. It goes really far. Picks up a third and he throws it, you know. And so this kid's just elated. He's so happy. He's having a great time. He's throwing his paper airplanes, right? And then he leaves. But there's a fourth
yeah,
airplane on the ground, right? And then this kid walks over to it.
yeah. That'll be great. Yeah, that sounds good too.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, obviously you can do whatever you want. I'm just thinking this is like a punchline, but you have to have the setup. Do you know what I mean?
The setup, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to stay simple with the animation, so but yeah, I can try adding the other stuff, see what how it comes out.
Yeah, or just, you know, work with the idea of extending it a little bit and see what you come up with, you know.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's really
That's
good and
cool.
I like your storyboard. You know, this is enough information for us, but just as a just to kind of elaborate on this, you know, you in the future you might want to do things like put numbers and then
Yeah.
a little bit of text direction underneath, and then of course you can use arrows to show direction. Although you know this is pretty clear what's happening.
That's
Um,
cool.
yeah, and also think about things like audio. So what kind of soundtrack, you know, might you like to have behind this? What kind of special effects? Is there going to be a sound the airplane makes when it turns around? What sound is it going to make when it hits him? Things like that.
Yeah, I'll think about it though. Cool.
Okay, cool. Um,
Thanks, man.
yeah. All right. So let me see. Let's see. Walkcycle.fla. Is this the one that we did the other day? I'm going to try and show you how to export a movie here. Okay, so here's the little walk cycle we did the other day. So you just go File, Export. Oh, look, it'll export an animated GIF right there. Let's try this. Export animated GIF. Or did you try this already, Blake, and it didn't work?
Yeah, for some reason only like the horizontal movement would take effect, but maybe it's just on my end that's doing that.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see. Let's see if it's nice. It's thinking. And it's still thinking. Okay. Anybody else have anything that we can look at while this damn thing is thinking? All right. Well, that's taking a little bit too long for my taste. So maybe we'll come back to that after it's done thinking about whatever the hell it's doing. Okay. So let's go ahead back to the website and let's look at today's cognitive drawing exercise. Ooh. Oh, two eyes. Okay. Only one eye. All right. So it says it is Tuesday's exercise. Oh, really? Damn it. Did I link the same thing twice? Um, let's see. Yes, I linked the same thing twice. Okay. I do have day 5, but apparently I didn't link it correctly. So let me see if I can just change that link for you guys. So go to my media library here. Everything's like super slow today. Okay, let's see. Day 5 right here. Okay, so all I have to do is grab this link, copy, and go back to the website. All posts. And animation. All right. All right. So this is the wrong link. So I'm gonna delete that and paste in this one and hit that and then hit update. Okay, and now, okay, if you go to the website and you click on Cognitive Drawing Files, we should get day 5. Okay, we did. Okay, so of course what you guys want to do and what I should do as well is open this in Photoshop. So we'll go File, Open. Let's see, there should be a day 5 in my downloads. Day, D as in day.
I think you need to do some cleanup.
The scary thing is I actually just did.
Oh God.
Yeah, I know it's pretty scary, but I spent like 20 minutes throwing things away yesterday, but there's still a bunch of stuff in here. So it's because you land on something, you're like, oh, I'm not sure if I should throw that away yet. I'll have to come back to that. Anyway, I'm working on it though. Okay, this one's only a 2-pager, so open both of those. Okay, and then what you may want to do for this one is that same thing we did yesterday where you click on one of the pages like day 2 and drag it down off of the bar there, and then you can drag the other one off of the bar as well. And then you can put this one over here and this one here. So today
I could do this the whole time.
What's that?
I could have done this the whole time.
What were you doing?
I've just been switching tabs.
Oh no. I'm sorry.
God damn it.
Yeah, actually, okay, my Adobe Animate is calling me here. It's finally got the GIF thing working. So, okay, so here's I had pressed do an animated GIF, and I'm just going to leave all the settings right, and then I'm just going to hit save. I'll put it on my desktop. It's going to be called walkcycle.gif. So I'll go ahead and save that thing, and then I'll go to my desktop. And then walkcycle.gif. I'm going to open this with a browser. Oh, you're right, Blake. It didn't pay any attention to the movie clip symbols. Or all it did was it animated the movie clip, but it didn't animate the symbols, the animations inside of it. Okay, so I'm glad we learned that lesson there, that it doesn't like animated GIFs in that regard. So here's your other option if you want to quickly, post a piece of animation that you've done. Go File, Export, Export Movie. Let's see. Okay, wait, hold on. I don't like that. I'm going to try the other one. File, Export. Let's do Export Video. Yeah, this is the one that I like. So you can, just leave it for entire movie. The H.264 compression format is good. You can decide where you want to save it. I'm going to save it on my desktop. I'm going to call it Walk Cycle 2 so I can recognize it. And then you just have to hit Export. And on my computer, it's going to make a .mov. If you have a PC, it might make a different format. Let's see what we got here. So Walk Cycle... I don't see it right there. Let me come back to it and see if it refreshes. Oh, my computer's so slow. Okay, walk cycle. Wow, where's my MOV? Damn thing. Oh, it's launching Adobe Media Encoder. So Media Encoder is a transcode program that comes with Adobe Suite, and transcode programs turn files from one format into another. And so this is a FLA, and it wants to turn it into an MOV. So it's not even going to do it itself. It's just going to open Media Encoder to do it. Now, unfortunately, Media Encoder is a whole separate program. It takes a while to open. It's going to open up, and then all I have to do is press a button, and it will export it. But it's going to take a sec. So while that's doing that, let's go back and talk about this. At some point, very soon, Media Encoder is going to eat up my whole screen, and then we'll go back to that. But so today's cognitive drawing exercise is for you to pick a pair of eyes that you like over here on the left-hand side, and then to draw those eyes 4 different times using the technique of first doing it from memory, then doing it from reference, memory, and reference. Okay, so you know there's different ways that you could do this. You could, when you're doing the memory one, you could simply grab this little layer right here and just put it on top of that and draw. And then when you're doing the reference, you could bring it back over, and then memory, and then reference, right? So that's probably how I'm going to do it. I always pick the same eyes. Let's see. Okay, it says that it created it successfully. There it is. So if I click on this, it should take me to it and hopefully launch it in QuickTime. Come on, damn you. Okay, so if I double click on it, all this work just for the damn movie. Okay, let's see. There we go. Sweetness. Okay, so that was a lot of effort, but it achieved the desired results. So once again, probably the easiest way to show us your animations, other than just uploading the FLA, is File, Export, Export Video. Remember video, not movie, right? And then basically you just hit this Export button. It'll launch Media Encoder, and it'll do the job itself, and then it'll tell you when it's done. Okay, but let's go back to Photoshop here, and let's do this exercise, this cognitive drawing, and I will also open up the video from Jason walking us through this exercise.
Welcome to day 5. Let's keep going with some eyes. Now remember, if you guys want to move on to the body and muscles and figure drawing, then move on to day 8. Otherwise, we will keep doing some beginner lessons on eyes and mouths and nose and the face. But again, I think these face lessons are a little bit more for beginners, so feel free to move on if you want. Here is what we are going to do. We're going to do a cognitive drawing exercise with one of these pairs of eyes. Okay, so pick one. Which one do you want to really learn how to do? I'm going to pick this one. So what you can do is circle it. That way you're focused on that one only. Some students have like drawn one here, and then they do another version of that, and then they pick a different one for here. Don't do that. I'm all for you doing this exercise over with a different pair of eyes, and then all the way through with another pair. If you want to make a photocopy of this page before you start, then that's what I would suggest doing. Or going through all 4 eyes if you want. But pick one, go all the way through the exercise, and don't switch back and forth. Otherwise, you won't retain as much. So what we're going to do, I have this eye here, these eyes here that I want to do. I'm going to look at it for a little bit, and then I'm going to just cover it up. Now, I don't have a clue. I'm just gonna, I don't know. I can't remember hardly anything. All I know is, well, here's our eyebrows. I mean, here's our eye shapes right there, you know, so we know that. And I just kept these shapes there just so that you have a little guide. And then this middle point right here, so you kind of know, hey, that's where the bridge of the nose is, you know. But I don't remember any of the real details of those eyes, but I'm just gonna, I liked how they looked.
Okay, I'm going to pause it here because we don't really want to use Jason's drawing as reference. We want to do this all by ourselves. So You guys have probably already started, but I'm going to start right now. So um, once again, go ahead, look, pick a pair of eyes, look at it for a few seconds. I'm going to do the same one that Jason did, and then cover it up and start drawing. Oh, don't forget, because I already forgot, make a new layer. Always get in the habit of making a new layer before you start drawing. Now, here's a little trick I learned from one of my former students. If you uh, if you take the opacity down on your brush or your pencil, it'll look on your brush. It'll look more like a pencil. So let me show you what I mean by that. Up here, you can see that my opacity, I took it down to 39%. And so then when I draw, it's going to look a little bit more like a pencil. So here we go. It's just more transparent like a pencil is. Okay, and of course the second drawing is going to be from reference. Okay, so I'm on the third one. I'm gonna look at this again real quick and then cover it up. Oh, now here's the tricky part. I also have to cover what I've done before. So there's a couple different ways to do that. One of the easiest ways is just create a new layer. Um, so I got to pull this up here like this. Oh my God, I have so many layers. Boom. Come on. I know what I got to do. Pull my layers off like this. And then when I go here, I can make a new layer. And then I can just fill it with black, make a box, fill it with black, and then I won't be able to see that stuff that I'm not supposed to look at. Okay. Okay, so I think of myself as, I think of the rate that I draw as pretty average. I'm not super fast, I'm not super slow. So when I'm done with the drawing, I figure, maybe a cross section of the class is done as well. And like I said, some of you finished already and some of you are still working, which is fine. But we're going to move on to something else. So you can take the next minute or two to finish this off, or you can go ahead and save it and then move on to the next thing and come back and finish it later. So I'm going to save mine as day 5 in my cognitive drawing folder that I have on my desktop here. And of course, when you save these, it's up to you whether you want to save both pages or not. I'm usually just saving the drawing pages and disposing of these, but if you think you ever might want to come back and do this exercise again, you can always save both pages. Okay, so let me go to, let's see. All right, here we go. Go to pima.dreamco.com and go to animation. All right. Okay, so what we're going to do today on Thursdays, I like to go through the 12 principles of animation videos and then do an exercise from them. So we're going to look at this follow through and overlapping action video, and then we're going to do an exercise for that. So let's go ahead and watch this. This is related to the last video that we saw. He mentioned this a little bit, which was the pose to pose and straight ahead and pose to pose animation. He mentioned follow through and said it's going to get its own video, and that's what this is. So I'm going to go ahead and play that.
I just want a long, happy, healthy life for him. When Anthony was a Dale, he was... This video is based on the 12 principles of animation as described by Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnston. Alright, so the next principle of animation is called follow through and overlapping action. This is the technique of having body parts and appendages drag behind the rest of the body and continue to move when the body stops. Follow through and overlapping action are often associated with another technique called drag. These names all describe the same thing but in different ways. For example, follow through refers to the way parts of the body continue to move after the body is stopped. Overlapping action describes the offset between the timing of the main body and its other parts. Drag describes the technique of delaying the movement of body parts in relation to the main body. All three of these are basically describing different aspects of the same thing. Follow through and overlapping action add a great deal of realism to a character. Here's a character with and without follow through and overlapping action. Basically, when the main body moves, the tip of the appendage should be the last to catch up, and when the body stops, the tip should follow through the farthest before settling back. This is true of not just appendages, but the whole body as well. When coming to a stop, often the body will follow through and then come back. Just as a character needs to anticipate his jump, he also needs to follow through his land. Sometimes the extra skin on a character can be treated as a separate entity with drag and follow through. Similar to squash and stretch, the amount of drag that you give something says something about its mass. The first one is like a TV antenna, while the second one is like a feather. It's usually easier to add the appendages after the animation of the main body is finished. When adding hair, for example, use the previous frame as an indicator of where the hair should be stretched towards. Since it has drag, it should be dragging from where it was in the last frame. In addition, make sure to let the hair follow through when the body comes to a stop. Arms are a good place to insert follow-through and overlapping action. Have the elbows lead the arm's actions. The elbow comes first, followed by the forearm, and then the hand. This is true even when walking. The forearms drag slightly behind the elbows, and the hands drag slightly behind the forearms. Overlapping action helps to break up an animation to make it more interesting. If we offset the movement of the arms and legs, the animation appears more graceful. If a character is standing up from the ground, we could offset the top half from the bottom half to make it look less easy and more realistic. So that's all I've got for follow through and overlapping action. The next principle is called slow in and slow out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Okay, so let me go back to the website. Okay, all right. So now what we're going to do an animation exercise. So demonstrating follow through and overlapping action. Now, as usual, I'm going to let you guys be the judge of what you're going to do. You can add your own creative input into this exercise. So what it's going to be is you're going to want to animate some type of character who has an overlapping action occurring with one of their appendages. So it could be a person with long hair, you know, that kind of they move their head, and you know, the hair kind of hangs back at the beginning, and then by the time their head stops, the hair swooshes over to the left, and then kind of settles back in place. It could be a character with a tail, like the cat that we saw, and that cat tail kind of follows through and snaps back. It could be floppy ears on a character, a little antenna on a Martian's head, like that very first thing we saw where the head was moving down and the antenna was flopping forward. So I'm going to do one. I'm going to pick just one of those and do it, but you guys are welcome to do whatever you like. JD says, stick man with a cape. Yeah, stick man with a cape works too, right? Okay, so I'm going to go into Adobe Animate. And by the way, as far as this walk cycle goes, you know, if you didn't get a chance to finish it on Tuesday, please do finish it. You can watch the Tuesday's video if you need a refresher of how we did it, and put it in your folder when you're done. It'll be good to have this done and as a reference for you for when if you want to animate your character walking in your little scene that you're animating. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and make a new Adobe Animate file. When we do these exercises, you can just make it the generic size. It doesn't matter. Just hit create when it asks you what you want to make. I just hit create. Okay, and then I like to, for this exercise, I like to draw a head with hair on it and do kind of funny things with hair. So, and also, I'm actually not that good at drawing hair, so when I draw hair, it always looks really funny because it's just wrong. So, you know, I can have fun with that and make my hair just flop all over the place. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so on my first layer here, I've already got a blank keyframe there. And I'm going to change my color here to black. And I also have to make it 100%. Okay, 100% black. Okay, so my plan is to have a character who's moving their head from one side to the other, and then the hair kind of follows through and flops through. So first thing I'm going to do is, you know, in some of the videos that he was demonstrating, he animated the hair and the character separately because that was just easier for him, and I kind of like that idea. So I think I might animate the person's head moving and then do the hair on a separate layer, because of course it's going to be more complicated. It'll be easier for me to redraw that second layer if I don't have to worry about the first one. So I'm just going to write the word head on my very first layer here, and then I'm going to click my brush tool. I like to draw with the brush tool, and I'm going to, you know, sort of center the character, and I'll have them, you know, facing over to the right at the beginning, and then kind of flop through over to the left. Now I can also use the concept of pose to pose animation on this, which is, you know, instead of just drawing straight ahead where you draw one frame, then the next, then the next, then the next, I can think about how long I want my animation to take and then draw the key frames first, right? So let's see, what's a good amount of time? Let me see, 5 seconds, or I'm sorry, not 5 seconds, 5 frames is a good amount of time. So if I do 5 frames, my very first frame could be the person over here, you know, facing right. Then I could draw my third frame, which is the person, you know, sort of straight up and down, or the head is just what I'm doing right now. And my fifth frame could be the person looking over here to the left. Now, of course, this isn't giving me very much in the way of in-betweens. I was thinking, you know, 2 would be the in-between here, and 4 would be the in-between here. But of course, that's only one in-between, so it's not going to be very smooth. It's going to be kind of jerky. Maybe I want to do 2 in-betweens. Well, that means that I have to add 2 to this. So now this is going to be 7, right? And then this is going to be 1, 2 and 3 are going to be here, so this is going to be 4. So that means 2 and 3 are going to be in-betweens, as are 5 and 6. So in this scenario, what I would do is I would draw these keyframes first, and then I would go back in and do the in-betweens to try and create sort of a smooth transition. And the whole thing's going to last 7 frames, which is, it's okay with me. Okay, so now what I can do is I can delete all this stuff that I drew. And now that I've got it planned out and I know how I want it to work. Okay, so on frame 1, I'm going to draw some kind of creature, guy looking over here to the right. Okay, so I like the idea of just a very simple figure. I always like to try to give them mouths and eyebrows because they're so expressive and you can do a lot with those. And the little ear is just to help flesh him out. Of course, I'm going to do the hair separately, so this is going to help me just being able to draw the face right now. Okay, so now I know that, let's see, so there's going to be 1, and there's going to be 2 and 3, and then 4 was going to be the next keyframe, right? So,
Is that right? You found your pen?
did I ever find my pen?
Yeah.
No, I thought about it this morning. I'm like, well, see, what happened was I did this massive cleanup where I took everything and put it into boxes and put it in another room, and I'm pretty sure my pen was in one of those boxes, so I got to go through the whole other room. It's going to be in some stupid box. But anyway, no, I haven't found it yet. All right, let's see. So what I'm going to do is because I'm going to go draw on frame 4 next. I'm going to create some blank keyframes on 2 and 3, which I can come back to and draw on. And now I'm going to create one on 4 because that's where I'm going to draw right now. Now, of course, I'm going to have to turn my onion skin on. And your onion skin will only go as far as you want it to. And right now, when I'm on frame 4, I turn my onion skin on. It's not showing frame 1. You have to grab this little blue line and drag it back all the way to frame 1 in order to see it, right? Now, one of the things that helps me, I like to have guidelines. I use guidelines in Illustrator and Photoshop and things like that. If you go View and then Rulers, and you click on your selection tool, your arrow tool here, you can grab guidelines, and this depends on how anal you are about your animations or whatever, but I kind of like the idea of guidelines, especially if I'm doing something like this pose-to-pose animation, because the whole idea of this is to keep things kind of consistent, keep the head shape about the same size and volume, and this the correct position that you want, right? Now, what I could do with this is I can draw these little guidelines that'll make it so that when the head's over on this side, it's basically the same height because it's hitting these two same lines. But I can also do something like, and this is, way anal retentive, so you guys don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I'm going to draw kind of a little box here, which is going to indicate how far this guy's going to move from here to here. And then I'm going to even draw a line in the center, and this is, like I said, not necessary, it's just me. But all these little construction lines are going to help me. Now I know that, frame 4, which I'm about to draw right now, I know exactly where the center of it is, and I know exactly how high it is. And to me, that's super cool. I like that, that amount of control over my animation. And then over here, I know exactly where to end the head, and I know how high it's going to be as well. Okay, so okay, I'm going to go to frame 4 here, click on this. And now I'm going to draw the guy again in his next position. Okay, so that will be, oh, what the hell was that? Okay. Okay, so that head looks a little small to me. It doesn't look like it has the volume of the first head, so I'm going to try to redraw it and give it a little more volume. Okay, I feel better about that. That's a little closer to the volume of this other guy's head.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Couldn't you just redraw where the onion skin is and then rotate it the other direction? If if you weren't feeling like it was the same size.
Yeah, you could absolutely. I'm trying to get it so that I can look at it and draw it something similar. But of course, if you're on a computer, you have copy and paste options, which are really really handy for this type of thing. So you could definitely do that. The other thing you could do, although this is not as organic a method, is I mean you could base everything on ovals. I could get an oval that was pretty close to this guy's volume, and then put that on a separate layer, and then just draw around that. But I'm trying to do it a little more organically than that. I'll try one more because I think I could just be a little better at this. I want to get a rounder line down here. It always gets really straight. Okay, anyway, I can live with that. Now, if I wanted to be super anal, I could even put a line in, to indicate where different parts of the body are, like the eyes and the nose and stuff like that. Kind of like we did when we were constructing our turnarounds. I won't get much more than that. I'll just do one for the eyes, right? And also, I can use some of what JD suggested. I noticed that I drew my guy, and he's got a pretty good volume, but I drew him too far to the right, so I could actually select it and just tap my arrow keys and move him over to the left a little bit, so he's a little more centered. And you don't have to go to this level of work on an exercise like this, but it helps me get better at animating, so I like doing stuff like this. So, okay. So I'm going to draw my eyes and try and keep them sort of a similar style. Make sure you retain everything that you had in the first drawing. So my eyebrow and my mouth. And my plan with my mouth and the eyebrows is, he looks kind of worried here, but by the time he gets over here, I'm going to have him transition to a smile. So not only is his head position changing, but his actual motion is changing too. Okay, so now I know that I'm going to need 2 more blank keyframes. So I'll go to 5 and insert a blank keyframe, 6 and insert a blank keyframe, and then 7 and insert a blank keyframe. Okay, and that is where I want to draw the last guy. Now I'm going to grab my onion skin line back here and drag it all the way back to frame 1 so I can see both reference points. And of course here I want to draw one which is the polar opposite of this. It's true I could copy this guy here and paste him in here and flip him and I'd be good, but I'm going to just try drawing him, see how well I can do. Okay, he's not as big as he could be. So I'll just try it again. Okay, so you can use some of the tools that are in here. Like I can select this guy and click on the second tool from the top, which is the free transform tool. I can actually just make this guy's head a little wider, and I can even use this to angle it a little bit so that it's even a little closer to that than the one that I originally drew. So yeah, these digital tools are helpful. Okay, so I got my 3 keyframes in there, and now I can go back and do my in-betweens. So I can go back to frame 2 here, and I'm going to be doing 2 drawings in here. each one is going to be halfway sort of in between. This one, the one that I'm going to draw now is going to be closer to this one, and then the next one will be closer to this one. So I got to look at the amount of space I have here and figure out where I want to draw these so that they can take up all that room in that time that they have. So I'm going to kind of start here. Draw this guy like this. And I also have to think about the fact that his head is actually changing position. It's going to be facing front. And he's got a little ear somewhere over here. And so this next drawing that I'm going to make, of course, on frame 4, he's got to be right in between these two, and he's got to be turning a little more towards this way. Okay, so this one, he should be not completely facing forward yet. He should be still looking off to the left a little bit so that the next one will be where he's facing forward. Still got a little bit of the air happening over here. Okay, and let's see, now I'm up to 4. On 4, I can add a pair of ears in there. I can turn off my onion skin temporarily, which you can always do if it gets in the way. And then just give him a pair of ears that'll pop out of here. Okay, now I can turn my onion skin back on. And now I've got to, actually you can grab the front end of your onion skin and pull it all the way over to the end. And now you can see the very last thing. This guy is looking surprisingly like a potato. Mr. Potato Head. Okay, so this one's going to be here. All right, and this guy's starting to look off to the left a little bit. And he's got a little ear showing up over here. And then we go down to 6. And I can see I drew this guy kind of close to him, but it's kind of similar to these other guys. But that's a pretty big gap right there. So after I make this next drawing, if I want to, I could move the final drawing over to the right. Because you can see that, you know, even though there's some change here, like this guy gets a little smaller and everything, there does seem to be a pretty nice transition where each guy is overlapping the next by about the same amount. And that will produce a smoother animation. So if I overlap this guy, I think this last guy is going to be a little too far away. So let's just see how it goes. So I draw this one. Yeah, I was right. He's going to be a little too far away. Make sure I get that little ear in there. Okay, so now, like I said, I can grab this last frame, click on my selection tool, and just move it over a little bit so that it's got like the same kind of overlap as the other ones. And you know, clearly there's flaws here, like this head is clearly not at a great angle, so I could go back in and redraw that. Or actually, here's another easy thing to do. click on frame 2, click on your free transform tool, and then just simply, angle it a little better. And you can see already that's an improvement. It looks a little more, and I can even pop it up a little bit, and that's a lot more consistent with that, with those other ones. And I can see that there's, the same kind of issue with this last one. It's really different from all the other ones. So, I could adjust its angle a little bit, move it over a little more, just try to get it to be a little more consistent with everything else. Okay, and then this guy, frame 6, he looks just a little small to me. His head's just kind of small. So I'm going to see if there's anything I can do to, it's really the shape of his head though. It's like, it's too much of a bean or something. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to have a lot of luck with this guy. But maybe what I'll do is I'll take the last guy and make him a little more compressed so that it's not as shocking a transition. Okay, so I feel pretty good about that. Of course, these things are never perfect, but at least there's a certain amount of consistency with the size of the head. There's all the components are there. Although I did forget to put an ear on the last guy, so I'm going to do that right now. Let's draw a little ear right here. Okay. And so now if I want to test this out, I can click on my loop tool. I can go under modify, document. I can change this to something like 7 frames a second, and I can hit my play button. Oh, I screwed up. I didn't grab my play and drag it all the way to the end here. Okay, so now let's try that again. Okay, and that's kind of fast, so maybe I would change it to 3 frames a second and see what that looks like. Yeah, so you can see, I mean, at least I achieved him moving in the same plane, His head shape clearly changes in every single frame, but it's not too horrible. Okay, so I've got the first part done, which is the guy, which is arguably the harder part. And I can stop it. And now I can create a new layer by clicking on this plus symbol, and I can call this hair. And the fun thing about hair is, you can do anything you want with hair. It can be long hair, it can be spiky hair, but it's a lot more fun to draw than this much more sort of serious, try and get everything right on the head thing. Now, I think I'll employ the same principle here, which is I'll go ahead and insert a blank keyframe on every frame right now, and then go in and draw the key hair frames, and then come back and do the in-betweens, just in hopes that I can get everything pretty consistent. Okay, and so that means I'm going to need my onion skin. I can turn off this loop thing here. Okay, and I can start out with frame 1 and drawing some hair over here on the hair layer. And I got to figure out what kind of hair I want this guy to have. And of course, the trick here is we're working on overlapping actions. So whatever hair he has, it has to sort of hang off to the right at the beginning, and then it's got to, kind of flip over to the left. Now, one of the things that's got to happen, actually, if I were doing this, just concentrating on the overlapping action, I'd probably have a few more frames of this last guy. In fact, I'll probably have to add a few more frames on there, because what happens is, the hair is the last thing to move, and then it finally moves, and then when the head stops, which would be this frame 7, the hair keeps moving, overlaps the head, and then snaps back. So I'm going to need at least a couple more frames of this guy, and he can be in exactly the same position, but I'm going to need a couple more frames of him. So maybe I'll do that right now. So what I can do is I can click on frame 7. I can, the way I like to do this is to right-click on the actual frame here and do copy frames. and then go one frame down and right click and do paste frames, and then go down one more and do paste frames again. Okay, so now that final frame is going to be on the screen for 3 frames. So I'm going to go up here above it on my hair layer and create a couple of extra blank keyframes so I can do my my hair overlap. Okay, so now I'm glad I thought that through. And this is what I like about pose to pose, is it forces you to think things through instead of just animating one thing at a time and then ending up in kind of a weird place. Okay, so now I can figure out what my hair is going to look like for this guy, and of course it has to hang off to the right. So let's see. I like just trying to get something kind of interesting going on here. Okay, I'm just going to work with that. Okay, and I'm not really concerned about that extra line down there on the head layer. I could always go back and erase that later. Okay, so I've got what his hair looks like over there. Now, you know, every option is available to me, so if I wanted to, if I was inspired, I could go down to this very last frame and draw his hair in as sort of like a mirror image of that, you know. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll go down here on my hair layer on the very last frame. I know that the hair is going to end up looking like the reverse of that. Kind of overshot the mark there a bit, so we do that. Okay, oh, looks like he's got 3 little chunks in his hair, which is good because this one was too thin anyway. So we'll see if we can add a 3rd chunk like that to his hair. Okay, so now I got something I feel good about with the last frame, with the hair being where I want it to be. I can, you know, I can keep going through this sort of method, and I can go to the middle guy here, which is frame 4, and I can figure out what the hair is going to look like at that, which of course is facing front, so it's going to be a very different look. Okay. Okay. Now with that here, let's see, it's sticking up kind of high, but I don't think it's too bad. In fact, I could probably get kind of an arc going here where it starts out kind of low and goes up. I like the idea of doing things like using guidelines to help me with my animations. So like, for example, if I see something that I think could be an arc, I can grab like a circle tool like this or an oval tool, and I can try and make an arc that I think will be, let's see, let's get rid of this middle section here. We don't need that. I could try to make an arc on another layer that I think might be appropriate for the animation itself, like so. And then that can be a guide, right? So what I can do is I can lock that layer, click that lock here, and that's of course above everything. And what that will allow me to do is make sure that these other drawings that I do, that the hair is always hitting that arc. So it just, you know, arcs up to this level and then comes back down to this. Okay, so now I just got to draw the hair and these other frames. Got to remember to put 3 sections on it. Okay, so this guy here. All right. Oops. Okay, so I've got hair on all these guys except there's 2 extra frames that I put in at the end here where this guy, where his head stays in the same place. And what I have to do is I have to make it so that the hair is not quite where it should be in the first of these 3 frames. And then in the second one, it overlaps further than this last one, and then so it can snap back there. So okay, that means the next frame we're actually on this green head here, but that the hair can't be all the way down yet because it hangs back behind the head. So I can use this arc once again to kind of help me get the hair where I want it to be. Okay, so the hair is there in that frame, and then in the second to the last frame, it has to go beyond the end point. So of the last frame. So now I'm gonna draw this hair way crazy over here. Let's see. So it's gotta go way down like this maybe. This is pretty exaggerated, but we'll see how it works out. So I can turn my onion skin off. Now, one thing that you can do with Adobe Animate, the comma key goes back 1 frame and the period key goes forward 1 frame. So you can use that to kind of walk through your animation and see how it's doing. So you can go back to the beginning, hit the period key to go forward, and then, you know, if you see something that screws up, you can you can spot it pretty easily and then just fix it, you know. So let's see, this all looks good to here. And then, yeah, it goes all the way over, which is the overlapping action, and then snaps back. Okay, so now I can turn off my arc, turn off the eyeball for that. Turn back on my loop. Make sure I go all the way to the end and hit play. It's pretty funny. The way his hair just kind of dips down and comes back up. Now, maybe it would look better. It's so funny because it's so slow, but maybe it would look better if this was slightly faster. It would give it a more realistic feel to it. So right now it's at 3, so how about if I change it, double its speed to 6? Okay, loop, and then yeah, it looks a little better at 6. I can turn off these guides as well. And it would look even better at a faster speed, because then it would be more like he's actually moving, and then that's the physics of his movement. So I'll double it again to 12 and see how that looks. Yeah, and so at 12 it's looking more like, you know, he's turning his head and that hair is just kind of flopping over. Okay, so I'll stop that there, stop. I'll save this as an example. Let's see, so we'll call this overlapping action. Okay, so Hugo asked, so what do we have to draw? But that was probably a while ago, but thank you, Luna. Hugo, did you figure out what we're drawing, or would you like some more details from me? Oh, you did. Okay, great. Okay, so let me see what else we have today, if we have anything. Cinema, Corona. I thought we looked at this right. What they are, and do them in Adobe Animate. And we talked about that on Monday. Okay. Show one animatic. Yeah. Okay, so I know that it's probably going to take you guys some more time to finish that exercise, but why don't you take a look at what I'm going to show you now, and then I'll give you the rest of the period to do the exercise, finish up the exercise. So what I want to talk about next was animatics and what those are. And what an animatic is it's basically, it's your storyboards all placed one right after the other in Adobe Animate. So it's literally like taking each storyboard, cutting it out of, you know, with Photoshop or whatever, and dropping it into Animate and putting each one of them on one frame, or maybe making it last several frames if you want it to be on the screen longer. And so it becomes an animated storyboard or an animatic. And what it does is it helps you see how your animation is going to look, you know, one storyboard after the other. It helps you with the timing of the animation and things like that. So what I wanted to do was, I worked with a student on this this animation for this story called Wild Chord, and what I did was I wrote up this little scene here, and first there's the environment, and I don't expect you guys to write anything like this. I just kind of, we're working on a real project, so I wanted to flesh in all the details. So it says, exterior midday, the camera zooms in from a bird's eye view onto a suburban American neighborhood. It stops to focus on one house. We hear the sounds of birds chirping, traffic, etc. The following 4 scenes take place simultaneously in and around the house as the camera switches back and forth between them. So scene A, Lydia, who's a 9-year-old girl, wakes up in her bedroom, stretches, gets out of bed, and makes her way downstairs to the living room. She's still half asleep, so she looks like a mess and bumps into walls and trips over things in her room. When she gets to the living room, she sits at the piano and raises her hand to start playing. There's a moment of anticipation as we expect beautiful music to begin. However, the second her hands hit the keys, a horrible discordant sound arises that terrorizes the neighborhood. Okay, so that's the first scene that we're going to be switching back and forth between. Scene B, three birds land on a branch in a tree next to the house. They are near an open window, and when Lydia comes down the stairs, she is visible inside this window sitting at the piano. This is the same window that Lydia's neighbor looks through to see her below. Two of the birds are regular size, and one is bigger, the one in the middle. They take turns singing a bird song for the other two. The one on the left sings first and is pretty good. The middle one sings next and is great. It's full of itself, very conceited. The one on the right opens its mouth to sing, and then Lydia's terrible piano playing starts. The other birds go into shock and fall off the branch. They're shocked at how bad this other bird sings when it's actually Lydia's piano. Okay, now scene C, Lydia's cat is on the kitchen windowsill investigating a planter filled with flowers. This windowsill is on the same side of the house as the window through which we eventually see Lydia sitting at the piano. After testing out how sturdy it is on the windowsill, the cat makes its way to the planter. It starts to burrow into the dirt to make itself comfortable. When Lydia's playing starts, it jumps up frightened out of its mind, and knocks the planter off the windowsill. The cat hits the ground first, then the dirt falls on top of it and buries it, so it looks like an above-ground grave, and finally a flower lands on top of the pile of dirt. Now, scene D, I was going to have her neighbor look in and get horrified, and that didn't actually happen in this animatic, so I'm going to let go of that. So once again, the camera's going to switch back and forth between three scenes. Lydia waking up, going downstairs to play the piano, three birds on a branch having a little singing competition, and a cat which is making a bed for itself in a window box planter with flowers in it. Okay, so those are the instructions that I presented to my student that I was working with on this. And then this is what she came up with for the animatic. Let's see. Here we go. So that's Lydia getting up, going down the stairs and running towards the piano, getting ready to play it, pulling the bench in. So we have the birds having a singing competition. The first one sings. The second one sings. He's so proud of himself. Now the third one gets ready to sing. And that's right when the piano chord hits and it's terrible. And the other, they slap him. He's so bad. Now there's a cat jumping up on the windowsill. It starts to make itself comfortable. And remember, these are all storyboards, so these are just single drawings that were just stuck in Adobe Animate. So he hears the sound, he falls off the windowsill, he looks up and all the dirt's falling after him. It completely buries him, and then a little flower lands it, right? And we actually animated this whole thing. I'll show that to you at some point. But that's an example of what an animatic is. And that's going to be the next thing that you guys are going to do after you do your storyboards, is you're going to animate your storyboards by putting them into Adobe Animate one after the other, and then you can mess with the timing, you can put new drawings in, whatever you need to do. Okay, any questions about that, about animatics? Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you guys the rest of the period to work on that animation that we were doing. If you finish something up and you like what you did, you can put it in the folder and we can look at it either today or next week, next Tuesday. If you're still working on it, take your time, take the rest of the period and finish it off, and then save it. And once again, if you're completely done, you can go to work on your scene. So you could, wherever you are in that whole progress, whether you have to do storyboards or whether you've done storyboards and now you have to start doing an animatic, you can do that. Let's see. So we have a couple people who put theirs in their folder. So let's take a look at those. So Garrett did one. Let me go back to my. Is this me? Yeah. So let's do Garrett. Okay. Okay. Oh crap. Oh, come on. What a stupid. Sorry. Is it scarf jump, Garrett? Oh, scarf jump. Yeah. Okay. That's really funny. It's really good. The scarf, waits until he falls and then falls down, or the cape, I guess you could call it. It's a scarf. It looks like a cape. Nice. Good job, Garrett. That looks great. Okay, and then we have Marco. Okay, I gotta see if I can figure out what this one's called.
It's under test.
It's under test? Oh, test.gif?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see now. How did I get this work done? Last time I downloaded it, and then I saved it. It's called test.gif. And then I found it. And I opened it with Firefox. Oh, nice. Some little creature. Is it like a bug kind of thing, or?
Oh, I don't know. It's just a little thing with a little dealing on its head.
Okay, all right. Yeah, it almost looks like a weird little spider guy or something like that that's doing push-ups. Spider push-ups. Okay, cool. Yeah, but of course the focus is on this little thing and how it stays back at first and then comes down and then goes back up to normal. Looks good. Okay, let's see who else. Let's see. So we've looked at Garrett and Marcos. Zach has no idea what to do. So Zach, is it? Are you saying like you just need an idea of what to draw, or you don't know what the exercise is asking you to do? I don't know if you're trying to talk, Zach, or if you're going to type something in, or if you're even there. But okay, you're typing. Okay, good. So, so what is the deal? Did you figure out? Do you need an idea of what to animate, or do you not know what you're supposed to animate? I do not know. I cannot do what you did on my system. Okay, are you using Adobe Animate? And you're not able to do it. Are you on a PC? Okay. Do you have any idea what the problem is? Is like your computer not playing nice with Animate, or we don't know? You don't know. Okay. All right. Well, maybe you and I can talk about it.
He might not have enough RAM or something.
Oh, okay. I guess that's possible. All right. Well, maybe we're going to look at these last few animations, and then Zach, maybe you and I can chat through the chat box and try and figure out what's going on. What you might want to do, referring to JD's suggestion, is you might want to look at Animate. Go look up the stats on Animate and say, how much RAM do I need to run Adobe Animate? Just ask the internet that question, and then check and see how much RAM you have and see if that's one of the issues while we're looking at these other animations. And then I'll check back in with you. So let's see. Hugo put his in. I think I'm just going to download the FLA. It's probably easier than going through all that stuff for the GIF. Oh, let me put the loop on. Make it. I think I can make it a little bigger too. Okay. Okay. So Hugo, this looks really good. I wonder if I might ask you to add one more thing to it, which is we need something that kind of overlaps. So, like what you could do with this guy is you could either change his hair so that it's hanging off to the right in this frame, and that by the time it gets here, it's lagging a little behind, and then when he stops, it kind of flops over, and then it returns back to the normal state. So you could mess with his hair and give him a little more hair that would overlap, or you could even give him a baseball cap that's pointing this way, and then by the time it gets over here, maybe it flops over on this side or something. But he just needs a little more of something overlapping. The animation itself is good. Is that pretty clear? Oh, okay, cool. Thanks, Hugo. Um, all right. Anybody else have something that they finished up that they want to share with us? Let's see. We got somebody jumped out. There's Luna coming back in. Okay. Okay. Well, if somebody else does have one that they put in the folder, go ahead and type it here in the chat, or just let me know, and we'll take a look at it. In the meantime, why don't the rest of you guys, take the next 15 minutes or so and work on your projects, or work on this animation if you're not quite done with it. And I'm going to spend the next couple of minutes chatting with Zach and see if I can figure out what's going on with him. So Zach, did you look into that RAM thing yet? Okay, I'll send you some messages through chat here, Zach. Let's see. Adobe says system is perfect to run Animate. Okay, so let me chat with you, Zach. Here we go. Oh, and I'll turn off my screen share so you guys can have your screens back. All right, let's see. Okay, Blake says he has something to show, so we'll take a look at that. Zach, I'm going to type you one more question, then we'll look at Blake's and we can come back to talking. Okay, let's see. So I'm going to share my screen again so we can look at Blake's. We'll go back here and we'll search for Blake. Here. Fox. Okay. Oh, nice. So Blake has a fox that's kind of doing a somersault over this wall type thing, and then the tail kind of uh, pops up and then back down at the very end. These last frames, you can see the tail pop up, and then I think it comes back down to its original position after it pops up a little bit. So that's cute. That's nice and very creative, Blake. Good job. Okay, I'll stop my. Let's see, 3 more messages here. Let's see. Okay, so I'll stop my share again unless I have another animation to show you guys, or unless I have to demonstrate something. So Luna said, very nice example, Blake, and I agree, it was nice. It says, Creative Cloud runs every update before every class. Okay. All right, so you got the most current version. So I am trying to follow what you did in class, but it does not happen. Um, so I tell you what, Zach, can you share your screen and show me what's going on? What isn't happening? Okay. Okay, Blake's, you're saying the desert background for the car was my version 3 cut out a lot of cactus. Oh, okay, cool. So it's more, it's a little more minimalist. Well, that's good. Yeah, it did look good. I noticed that when we looked at the desert. So good job there. I'm a fan of minimalism in animation for sure. In general, I am, but animation too. Okay, Zach, I can see your screen now. So let me see. Zach, are you able to talk to me or can you just type? Okay, your screen went away for some reason. Oh, Mike broke 2 weeks ago. Okay, got it. Um, your screen share went away for some reason. Can you kind of? Okay, here we go. All right, so let's see. So you're on the first frame there, and now uh, let's see. So go ahead and click on your brush tool over there on the left-hand side. Okay, and now, yeah, see if you can draw it all. Okay, so you can draw. All right. So you're making a little guy. Okay, cool. Now come down to the second frame and right click and do insert blank keyframe. Okay, now turn on your onion skin, go over to the right on your timeline, um, and it's these two circles. Yeah, that. Click on that. Okay, so now click on your brush tool. You're on your brush tool. Go ahead and draw like a second guy off to the right of this guy, like his head's moving or something like that. Okay, cool. And so create a blank keyframe on the next one. Draw another one. Make this guy a little more to the right. Okay, perfect. Now, come down here to your timeline and click on the arrow that looks like the loop arrow over here on the right of the timeline. It's that one. Yep. Now turn off your onion skin, those circles. And then let's see, you got 30 frames per second, but we want like maybe 3 frames per second. So go up to the top where it says like modify, the drop down at the top, and click modify document. Oh no, yeah, document. And then change that 30 down there to 3 where it says frame rate. And hit OK. All right, now here, hit the play button down here in your timeline. Yeah, that's right. So it looks at least to me like the things are working the way they should. Is it working for you now the way that it looks like it should?
The interface does look a little bit different though.
Yeah, the interface looks different. You can change your interface. Let me go to mine and see where it is. Window, and then it's going to be workspaces, and I'm in classic. Okay, window workspaces classic. Let's see where you are. Yeah, okay. So if you want, if you want to change it to look like mine, or if you're fine with the way it is, that's fine. But if you want to change it to look like the way mine does, click on your window drop down at the top, and then come down to workspaces, and then come over to the right and choose classic. The one that you're on right now is probably the default one. Let's see, window, workspaces. Yours is probably essentials. Um, yeah, when I go to essentials, it pushes my timeline down to the bottom. Um, and yeah, but I don't know. I kind of like my timeline at the top, so I'll just stick with classic. Window, workspaces, classic. Okay. So any other questions from you? Okay, you changed it. Oh yeah, I can see that. Yeah, so it's at the top. Yeah, so you're welcome to use whichever one of the workspaces works best for you. Basically, if you like to have your timeline down at the bottom, you can do that or whatever you want. Okay, cool. Looks good. Okay, you guys. Well, we're basically down here at the end of class. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to end the class, and if you guys want to, you can keep working. Um, and we'll check out what you guys have done next week on Tuesday. So have a nice weekend, everybody.
All right, you have a good
Good
one.
weekend, man.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Luna. And Garrett. And Zach. And all you guys.